As a tech content creator, I travel a lot and attend all kinds of events. So I came across a lot of business cards, and of course, I also want to hand out some of my own. I looked at what everyone else is making. You know, one nice character illustration, one contact QR code, and that's it, nothing more. So let's take a look. Paper, paper, thicker paper, plastic, paper, paper. Oh, this PCB one is quite cool. Paper, paper, oh, this one's metal, paper, paper. I mean, the idea is pretty creative, but the space still feels kind of limited. Now I look at my draft here. It has a vector playing badminton in the middle, plus a little comic strip. I wanted to have some actual storytelling, so I thought, alright, let's ask some top-down manufacturers first. Hi, can you make this design with cutouts? Can do it, can. We can do it. We can do it, but you need a mold. The mold fee is about like 4,000 China yuan, minimum order 1,000 pieces. Can do it. So apparently that wasn't going to work either. And honestly, even if it could be manufactured, there still wouldn't be enough room for everything I want. I want a good looking full-size vector in the center, a few comics panels for some story, and 2 big Chinese characters for vector on the side, some descriptive text, and then a QR code squeezed in at the end. At that point, even the aluminum postcard shop that wanted 4,000 China yuan for tolling couldn't really make it happen. I mean, I'm not going to GLC and get this CNC machine out of metal. That would be way too luxurious for something I want to hand out. A standard postcard is 150 by 100 millimeters. Apparently, that's still not enough space for all of this. But then, wait, what about 3D printing? And then the story unfolds. A super postcard. First of all, it still has to be a postcard, so it has to be thin. Second, it needs to contain actual information, so it has to be colorful. And finally, it has to be ridiculous cool. Yeah, honestly, that's pretty cool. Okay, let's go step by step. First, let's find out how thin a 3D print can actually be. We used Bambu Lab's official Maker Lab platform and started a keychain project. Yes, a postcard also counts as a keychain now. We uploaded our artwork, generated a very thin model, downloaded it, and printed it. Yeah, it's really thin enough. Step 2, let's see how many colors this Bambu printer can handle. And no, not that kind of multicolor, I mean like actual colors. Wait, that somehow sounds more even weird. You may ask why only 12 colors? Well, a 3D printer is not like a home inkjet printer that can do full CMYK or RGB printing. Whatever color filaments you load in is the color you get. You need to figure out how to create the best possible visual effect with a limited palette. Until scientists invent the true RGB full color 3D printing, we still have to do things the hard way for now. Bambu, keep going please. Yes, I'm putting pressure on you. Step 3, what kind of structural strings do we need to create this one-pull unfolding effect? We actually test a lot of different ideas. Some of them have this kind of sliding down motion, but those structures were just too thick. We also borrow some inspiration from those 13-in-1 fidget toys on Bambu's Maker World, but most of these designs are just really hard to compress into something under 2 millimeters thick. But wait, thin layers. People have already been using thin layers for artistic expression for thousands of years in China. And today, we are using modern technology to bring the same idea into a new form. Can you guess how many colors we've been using now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, plus white, so that's 10 in total. You can really see the details in the artwork, and with a 0.2 millimeter nozzle, the fine features are reproduced incredibly well. And the QR code you normally print on the business card, yeah, you can do those too. In fact, we print our postcard panels in total using Maker Lab's official chain generator. We added a 1 centimeter hole right here. That's right, as far as software is concerned, we basically made one giant keychain. Then we stack the 4 panels together, top, bottom, left, right, and model a simple 1 cm pad to go through the hole. The friction between the plastic parts ended up making that pivot surprisingly usable. So to sum it up to this point, we hadn't used even a tiny bit of professional 3D modeling software. Some people in our team, they know how to use the serious stuff like Fusion, SolidWorks, Blender, things like that, but we just want to challenge without formal training, without starting from some giant master something from beginner to expert textbook, having enough to kill someone. How much can we actually make only using open communities and public platforms? And the result was pretty good. At the convention, everyone thought this postcard was insanely cool. Of course, we also ran into plenty of problems along the way. For example, our poop buckets got full and we didn't clean it in time. Then the excess material got stuck at the outlet and couldn't get out. It clogged the entire hot end into a complete mess, but Bambu actually put a sensor over there. So even when the waste materials couldn't be dumped properly, it still warned us to go and check the poop bin. Huge thanks to Bambu Wiki and all of their documentations and support. I've been seeing people on Xiaohongshu complaining that Bambu printers threw errors. I'm like, well, isn't that normal? A printer is not a dishwasher. Its complexity is way beyond that of a normal household appliance. At that point, you're not just a user anymore. You are an engineer. An engineer standing next to the machine, watching it carefully, hoping it keeps working and doesn't fail. Of course, that means you have to learn a lot. Thankfully, Bambu has a huge amount of documentation. If you actually want to learn, the information is there. I'm honestly very against those ads that only focus on selling you the machine while never warning you about the learning curve. Yes, 3D machine has become much more accessible nowadays, but it is still not a machine where you just press one button and magically get what you want. It still requires real understanding of science, of engineering, of geometry, of structure. And your sense of color and space, that has to be trained little by little. Bambu's H2D dual material printing is definitely powerful and convenient. And paired with the AMS 2 Pro, it can save a lot of time and the material in filament changes. But of course, if this is what you designed, then I can see it's like your taste still needs work. The H2D is a big machine. It can print objects up to 350 millimeters long, 320 millimeters wide, and 325 millimeters tall. Don't underestimate a 30+ centimeter cube. The size is literally big enough to fit a human head inside. Okay, that sounds weird. What I mean is like the size unlocks a lot of helmet scale projects. For example, our first head base can be printed in one complete piece on the H2D. Then, here's a question for you guys. Why is our machine green? Well, that's because the Bambu H2D can also be equipped with a 10-watt laser module. With that, you can really push this high-precision 3-axis system to its limits. Bambu also has another piece of software called Sweep, which is a standalone tool for color and laser engraving. For example, we can use a laser to engrave washable labels on leather and then attach them to our fursuit bandanas. And just like that, you can show up your profile super efficiently at conventions. Oh, and one more thing, be careful with the fire, don't burn yourself. Alright, that's the full story behind this super postcard. I keep asking myself, like, what is the real meaning of 3D printing? Our industrial supply chains, manufacturing systems, and logistics networks are already so advanced. So do we really need to obsess over this weird, overly specific demands? I think we do. Because the supply chain is there, sure, but it cannot automatically generate something ridiculous cool for you. Designing and making a postcard entirely by yourself from start to finish, it can also rotate and unfold. Wow, that's so cool. And when you take something like this to a convention and exchange it as a business card, that's an absolutely shameless level of showing them. Let's be honest, when your friends picked up this finished card, who will not see this yellow fox is amazing. Don't act all above them. Look at the first to market in 2026. Every studio is competing to make things look better and better. Isn't all of that also about pursuing personal aesthetics? So in the end, 3D printing gives you a framework. It tells you through this kind of workflow, step by step, you can turning the things in your head into something real. Sure, it may only be plastic. It doesn't have the strength of metal. It doesn't have the transparency of glass. It doesn't have the durability of nylon fiber. But what it can do is help you validate the idea in your head. It can prove a concept. It can help you at a relatively low cost try again and again until the thing you imagine finally becomes reality.